Okay, here's part 2 to our first video, and we're going to continue on with learning how to create polygons. So I created our first polygon here, and as you can see here, the wall joined from this point to this point, and I'm not really worried about that right now. The main point here is that we were able to successfully create a polygon. Okay, so I'm going to create one final polygon, and then we're going to move on to the circle command. Okay, I initiated the wall command. I'm going to come up here and click on circumscribe polygon, click. Okay, I'm going to move over here to the side of my first polygon, and I'm going to click the center point, move in the direction I want to go, and let's create a 7-foot polygon. I'm going to type in 7, enter, and there's my second polygon. I'm going to hit escape here. And I'm going to show you a little shortcut here. I want to zoom extents, which means I want to see all of the geometry on my screen. And I could use the zoom out option on my mouse. I could double click my middle roller, but I also could type ZE, and when I do that on the keyboard, ZE, a zoom extents occurs. Okay, so now I can see everything that's happening on my screen. So creating a polygon, very simple. You really just need a center point, click, and then you either type in a dimension or you click to create the second dimension for your radius. Okay, so let's talk about creating circles. And circles, super simple now that you know how to create a polygon because they're generated in the exact same way. Okay, so I'm going to click on my wall command and initiate. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click on circle. Click, and I'm going to just come over here in this general region, right? You all are completing an assignment right now, and I'm just placing the circle in space, so get it just as close as you possibly can to where I have mine. But I'm going to click to initiate the circle command, move in the direction I want to go, and I can click again, let's say 8'6" there, and I'm going to create a second circle here. Let's do a 10-foot circle here, and instead of clicking, maybe it's tough for me to get that dimension, I'm going to type 10, enter, and there's my circle. Okay, so very easy to generate polygons, circles. Really most of the geometry in Revit is fairly simple to model. Okay, I'm going to hit escape here, and I'm going to initiate the wall command again. I'm going to come over here to my drawing tools. Okay, and we've learned this whole top row. There's just a few more that we're going to learn today. I'm going to talk about an arc. I'm going to talk about fillet. I'm going to talk about ellipse, and we're going to talk about the pick tool. Okay, we may not be able to apply the pick tool, but I just want to talk about it. I'm going to start moving a little more quickly now that I've explained temporary dimensions and changing things, and I'm just going to really focus on how to create the geometry. Okay, so I'm going to click on arc here, click. And this arc is called a start end radius. Okay, so that means that to create an arc, I'm going to specify a start point. And let's have this one be 15 feet right there, right? The extension is happening, and I'm getting a 15-foot snap from that square. So I'm going to click. There's my start point. We'll have my end point be this end point of the polygon here. Click. And then we're going to either click to specify a radius. I could click now, or I could type in a dimension, 22, enter. Okay, I'm going to hit escape to clear out that command. So I click to start, I click to end, and I either click a radius or I enter a dimension for the radius. Okay, I'm going to type ZE, get my zoom extents, and I'm going to pop back up here to wall. Let's do one more arc, click. My start point will be this endpoint, click. I'm going to click on this endpoint as my endpoint, click. And then my radius, let's type in 45 feet, 45, enter, escape, escape. Okay, so there is my arc, and I get temporary dimensions, right? I'm seeing all the same things on an arc, this geometry that I would anywhere else. Okay, escape, escape. So I'm going to initiate the wall command now, and we're going to talk about our fillet command, okay, our fillet arc. And essentially, we're going to see here in the little video, fillet will allow you to take a squared corner and create a rounded corner. So I'm going to click on that fillet arc, okay, and I'm going to zoom in here, to this area, and I'm going to take this squared off corner to a rounded corner. Okay, this is another one of those AutoCAD commands that we use all the time that translated to Revit. So I'm going to click once, click a second time, and click a third time to create a freehand arc. Okay, but I could also, this one was 13'6", which is what I wanted. You guys will copy this, of course. Let's do another fillet arc down here. Click once, click twice, and let's type in 5 feet. 5. Oop, I messed up there. I clicked on accident. But that's all right. We can revise this once we're done. I got a little click happy there. I want to change this to 5 feet. So I'm going to click on my temporary dimension, type 5, enter, and there's my radius. Okay. So again, don't forget that you can revise things once they're complete. All right. So that is fillet, and that will be used to round corners or edges or, whatever you need to do with that. I'm going to hit escape and type ZE, and I have a zoom extents happening. I'm going to come back here and initiate my wall command. Ellipse, we're going to look at ellipse and pick, and ellipse is very, very similar again to circle and polygon, where I can click on it. I'm going to click a middle point. I'm going to move my cursor out, and you notice that I'm getting one of the radii here, right? 16'6". Click. Okay, but an ellipse, you have to define 2 different dimensions, right? We have a radius in one dimension and also in a second direction. So before the command ends, it's going to ask me for a second radius here. I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm going to click about 7 feet. That's kind of a weird dimension, so again, I want to revise that. I'm going to click on it, and we'll type 6 space 6, enter. Okay, we'll create one more ellipse, and again, just put it in the general area of where we're putting this thing here. So I initiate the wall command. I'm going to come over here to ellipse, click. I'm going to specify a center point by clicking, move in the direction that I want to go. I'm going to type 10, enter, and then I'm going to type 4, enter, escape, escape, and there is my ellipse. Okay, now I want to remind you that these are drawing tools that are sort of nested into a building command, right? So unlike AutoCAD, where you use the line tool to create all your geometry, right? I'm using these drawing tools within a build command. So to create a wall, I use align. To create a floor, I use align, right? So these are just a method to create building geometry, essentially. So I just want to remind you of that. Our final drawing tool that we're going to work on or work with today is going to be our pick, okay? And pick, it's a little bit hard to illustrate right now without using a modification command or something else. And so I'm going to show you how to use pick and just follow what I do. I'm going to hit escape here. Just follow what I do without knowing exactly what's happening, right? Follow me blindly. So I'm going to click on wall here, and I'm going to click on pick, click. And essentially the thing that you need to know about pick is that we have to have a secondary input before it will work, okay? So right now, if I hover over an object with my pick tool, and I just hover and touch, I'm not clicking, an object highlights, okay? And if I were to click right now, click, nothing really happened, but essentially what did happen was one wall was just drawn over the top of another. So we have one wall duplicate over the top of another, okay? But the idea of pick is that it's very functional with modification commands, although we can use it as a drawing tool. And I'm just gonna, in my offset option right here that pops up when I've clicked on pick, I'm gonna select and I'm gonna type 5, enter. Now what I have just done here is I've allowed an offset to occur when I pick something. So the idea of pick is that Revit will allow you to make an identical copy of something that you pick a specific distance away from that original object. Okay, so I'm offsetting, but I'm creating an object at the same time. So if I hover over this, I can click, and the second wall is generated 5 feet from the first wall. 5 feet. I can continue on. Click, click, until they get so small they won't generate. I'm going to zoom in a little click. There's my tiny little wall, escape, escape. Okay, let me do that one more time. I'm going to come over here to wall, click, and I'm going to click on the pick tool, click, and we have another input that we need to use. I'm going to highlight offset and type 2 foot, enter. And I'm going to hover about an object. Ooh, make sure I hit enter there. Okay. Oops, something is, there we go. I'm going to hover about an object, click, 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 right? And this is offsetting, click. And again, just do exactly what you see me doing on the screen here for your assignment, okay? I'm going to hit escape. All right, so those are all the drawing tools, and this is your assignment, and I'm going to open up your Revit files and take a look at these and make sure that they are identical to mine, all right? So get them as identical to mine as you can. Final step is saving this file, okay? So probably we should have done that in the beginning, but we got caught up in drawing. So I'm going to come up here to File. I'm going to choose Save As. I'm hovering, and then I'm going to choose Project, okay? And I'm going to go to wherever I want to save my project here, and I'm going to give it a name. And in this case, this one is going to be called Drawing Command. And I'm going to hit save. You notice that it has RVT extension here selected, which means this will create a Revit file. Drawing commands, save. Okay, so what I've just done there is I've saved this file, okay, and now it will appear in my recent files. And if you needed to take a break and stop, you know, while you're working on this, you could have saved it at any point. But essentially, this is what your assignment is going to look like. So save your file as a Revit file, upload it to Canvas, and that will be your assignment for this week.